Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Dr. Mritunjay Athreya needs no introduction to you all. He is, of course, a very well-known management expert. But just for the record, Dr. Athreya, he is an author, educationist, and management advisor, widely regarded as one of the founders and pioneers of the Indian management movement and education. He has a PhD from Harvard University and has been a professor at the Indian Institute of Management, Calcutta, and the London Business School. He is a reputed speaker, which you will all get to know now, at various national and international fora, and elected fellow of many professional bodies. The Government of India honored him in 2014 with the High Civilian Award of Padma Bhushan. He has been chairman or member of several government committees. He advises government, NGOs, and industry on management issues. But what may not be well known is his involvement with Tattvāloka. He is a great friend of Tattvāloka and has been contributing articles for over 5 years, or maybe more. In the last few years, however, he has been addressing youth in his articles, and the theme has always been Dharma. The underlying theme is always Dharma. It's not just him, but his whole family is very talented, and today we have a good number of them here. He and his brother, who's also here today, are regular contributors to Tattvāloka. There was recently an issue where his nephew also wrote, so there were 3 Athreyas who are contributing to Tattvāloka. So whenever he visits Chennai, though, he always informs us beforehand so we can prepare a talk by him. So here he is, and we are very, very thankful to you, Dr. Athreya. Without further ado, may I request Dr. Athreya to come up and tell us how we can all put Dharma first and attain a sustainable career success as well. May I also request Mr. T.R. Ramachandran, who's the Chairman Emeritus of Tattvāloka, to come and honor Dr. Athreya. Can I request Mr. Nataraj, who's MLA of our area, please to come up and be honored by T.R. Ramachandran. Oh. Can I request Mr. T.S. Krishnamurthy, please? Come on, yes, please. He's chairman of Repco Finance. We all know him, of course, as former CEO, CEC, sorry. Of course you have.
My pleasure of receiving it from you.
இது அவருக்கு கொடுக்கணும். Okay, then you have this.
Shivering is short word.
Thank you. Yeah.
May I leave this with you? No, no need, no need. Sarala, your notes? Yeah, yeah, that's all right, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to be here, and I'd like to thank Tattvāloka for going to great trouble to organize this. I got an invitation a few weeks ago from the Bharatidasan Institute of Management, Tiruchi. They're holding here tomorrow and day after a 2-day global conference on research, and especially a number of young PhD scholars doing research on management topics in India, abroad, from many countries are coming, and they call me as a chief guest. As Sarala said, every time I get such an opportunity to be in Chennai, I come the day before or stay on the day after for an evening talk at Tattvāloka. So this is one of those. And this time the audience is very rich and mixed. There are several of my seniors here, my family, and lots of close relatives and friends. So I feel like Arjuna on the battlefield, the Vishadam, the initial level of respect and anxiety. And I'm grateful for all of you for being here. This talk was designed initially for use for our college students, class 12 to postgraduate, who are on the cusp of their entering a career. But given the mix of this young as well as senior audience here, we can slightly modify this title. For your sustained career of life success, put Dharma first. For the success in our life also, Dharma is the root, the mantra. So it is with great appreciation and gratitude to Tattvāloka that I began this lecture. And many of you who have heard me before know that I keep it short and crisp. And if you look at the schedule, I should be finishing by 7 and allowing about 20-25 minutes for your questions and comments. So I would encourage all of you to please, especially the younger people here who have shifted to the back benches, as I used to do in college. But there are mics and you can speak up. You can raise any question, any doubt, because Dharma is a big challenge and great strength, and it is not easy to follow. But if you follow it, it's highly valuable. And in the Gita, a beautiful upama is given. Yattad agre vishamiva pariname amrutopamam. At the beginning, like all good medicine, it will be bitter. But as we take it, progress with it, it will have very beautiful honey-like results. So I'd like to define not just career success, what is sustained career success. So the word sustained is underlined. Just like in industry, we today talk about sustainable development. And in India, we are already feeling the effects of climate change, so that sustainability in a physical environmental sense. But here we are talking about a career which is getting longer and longer. When I was in college, the retirement age in India was 55. Even a multinational company like ITC in Calcutta, the chairman, however healthy he was, had to retire at 55, as in government as well, State Bank and many public institutions. Then it became 58, it became 60. Now in the Tata Group, they have a defined policy. If you become a director of any one of the companies, it is 65. If you become chairman of any one of the group companies, it is 70. If you become group chairman, it is 75. Why is this happening? Because life expectancy is rising. So those who are young there in their early 20s can expect to work for the next 60 years. So your career is no longer 25 years, 35 years. It is 50 to 60 years career. Therefore, this mantra is very relevant to you. So then I'd like to focus on what are the errors that we make which prevents us from reaching such sustainable sustained career success, what erodes such success. Then we need to go into where these errors come from. The errors come from within us. We may give some explanation, excuse from outside, but if we develop the strength to resist those temptations, then it is our strength which will lead to a sustained career. So what are the internal weaknesses that cause such errors? And how can we use Dharma, utilize Dharma, and the modern management jargon is how we can leverage Dharma as a strength to overcome those weaknesses, because it's a fantastic strength. And I'd like to conclude with a suggestion to all of you, especially the younger people here, and those executives who are in their mid-career, who still have another 20, 30 years to go. Or this lecture was intended also for teachers who are mentoring and guiding their students in graduate, postgraduate levels. It is also meant for parents who may be interested and concerned about their children's success, or if they're going through a bad patch in the career, how to resurrect the career. So I'd like to conclude with a suggested action plan. So let's take the first one. What is sustained career success? It is not the position that you have reached. It is not the size of the company. It is not your salary as the CEO. It is not the savings and the wealth and the stock options that you have created. The most important requirement is kirti, the reputation. You know that one of our Ashirvadams is Ayush Kirtim Prajam Dadhu. That is a long life, kirti, and children. And reputation of a leader who not only has competence, but also character. And we Indians have generally a high IQ, especially certain higher echelons of society. So between the two, competence is easier to acquire, hard, but relatively easier. Character is harder to acquire and even harder to retain in the face of temptations. A career of authority, either in the Indian administrative service, police service, or similar central services, or in industry, private or public sector, or in the academic system as a principal, dean, vice chancellor, and so on. We just recently heard of a case of a vice chancellor being arrested for alleged corruption. It shakes up the whole university. I'm speaking at that university on 3rd March. And when this news came out in the papers, I wrote to them saying that if the Senate and the director of the business school decide to hold the conference, I will